For our harmonium player. I have a little bag of tricks here for you today. Okay. You have. Okay, go ahead.
Hare Kṛṣṇa, dear friends, on behalf of ISKCON Tampa family, I want to welcome all of you for taking out your valuable time in spite of all the odds of heavy rains. Thank you for coming on a Friday evening. It's not easy, but we are very, very grateful to all of you for your precious time. Today we have a very, very special guest devotee with us, His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu and his good wife, Hare Kṛṣṇa Mataji. Let's give a big Hari Bol to welcome them from the core of our hearts. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! So, a personality like His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu needs no introduction, but in case some of you are meeting him for the first time, His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu has been disciple of His Divine Grace Abhicharnara and the Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrī Prabhupad for many, many decades. And from the very young age of in his early teens, in searching for the absolute truth, to search for Krishna consciousness, to search for the real meaning in life, and he got in touch with Prabhupada's books, and since that point, he's been actively involved in distributing Prabhupada's books. And currently, His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu is initiating spiritual master, and we have tomorrow a Diksha ceremony as well for Ram Mohan Prabhu and his good wife Manisha Mataji. So we're all cordially invited for that program as well. And has been very, very actively involved in one of the main missions of Srila Prabhupada to distribute transcendental literature. And that's why we have all assembled here today for the Sankirtan orientation seminar. And also want to welcome Hare Grace Nirakula Mataji, his good wife. They flew all the way from San Francisco, which is almost like a totally different part of the world. And almost like a 5-hour flight just for us to hear their wonderful association. They flew all the way to bless us with their association, with the kirtan, with the holy names, and we have 3-4 programs. So tomorrow we have the Diksha ceremony at Bankim Prabhu's place, and next day also, tomorrow afternoon, we have the MSF. So what we learned today in theory, we will do in practical tomorrow afternoon. And then on Sunday, which is Sunday morning, we have Bhagavatam class at Shilpa Mataji's home. So she's the host for the Bhagavatam class. So, and also we want to welcome our very own dear His Grace Ramya Prabhu and his good wife, Hare Kṛṣṇa Mataji, came all the way from Alaska. For all these wonderful 4 devotees, let's say 3 times again. Hare Kṛṣṇa! Hare Kṛṣṇa! And also want to thank dear Karthik Prabhu, who's the host for today, and his good wife, Veena Mataji. For coming and making this evening very special. So thank you so much. Yes, please.
I would also like to add, that some years ago, North America and maybe most of the world was in the real doldrums, not distributing so many of Prabhupada's books, at least not as many as we used to be able to. So Vaisesika Prabhu first showed the example in his home temple, how to distribute books, how to get everyone enthused. What seemed like a difficult job or a difficult service, or was limited to a few brahmacharis, and get the whole temple to participate in this wonderful, exciting activity. And then he spread it all around North America and also around Europe. I think so.
We're working on it.
Not yet?
No, we're there. We're
Working
here.
on it. So he's really, I would tend to say, almost single-handedly revitalized book distribution for Srila Prabhupada all over North America and into Europe, and wherever anybody wants to take his help, as far as I know, he's willing to go there.
Maybe we could start with everybody. Is it possible to move closer?
Yes, please.
It changes the dynamic when you move closer. Also, because there's no amplification. I have my respectful obeisances to His Divine Grace, Prabhupad, Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta, and Antya, Devi. And to all of you, Vaishnavas assembled here today, Hare Kṛṣṇa. Lights on, down. And we have a great opportunity because we're humans. Humans can do stuff that beavers and mongooses can't. And we have a lot of trials and tribulations because we're humans. The world gets to us very easily because we're very sensitive. But that's also a good sign because it means that we can feel and know why we're feeling and develop feelings for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And one of the best ways to do that is by developing a sense of first responsibility and then a sense of compassion for others who are suffering. One of the best ways to come out of one's own sense of being overwhelmed by the world, externally and internally, is to think about how to do good for others. And it's known throughout the Vaishnava scriptures to be this best kind of service to Krishna. That is to think about how to do good for others. As an example, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that if somebody takes the trouble to teach Bhagavad Gita to the other devotees, then that person's the most dear to me, more dear than any other person And he says, nor will there ever be one more deer. And in the Bhagavatam, do you remember when Lord Shiva drank the ocean of poison?
Yeah.
Do you remember why he did it? Yes.
To save the whole universe.
That's right. And Shukadeva Goswami points that out. He said, look at Lord Shiva. He was willing to try to save the whole universe by drinking an ocean of poison. He said, this is the best service, to think about how to do good for others. Why did the sages at Naimisharanya get together? What was their concern? Yes?
Like people in Kalika, people in New York, and the name Sharma cities wanted to spread the name of Krishna consciousness.
You're hired. No, really, you're our research department. I'm going to call on you a lot tonight. So, yeah, the sages, just like this. Why are we all here tonight? To think about how to do good for others. That's what the sages at Naimisharanya did. They got together in a forest and they had a discussion, as Prabhu just told us, that we will think about how to do the greatest good to the people all over the world. And what was Prabhupada thinking when he came on the Jaladuta? Well, we know because he wrote some things down. I want to get everyone else going here first. I'm going to call on you a lot. What was he thinking? Do you know? Have you read his diary on the Jaladuta? What was he thinking? Just tell us. Basically, what was his mission?
How to save the world.
Yeah. He was thinking is that what you were going to say?
Partly,
Yeah. He was thinking, how can people take to Krishna consciousness? How will they be able to hear the Bhagavatam? If they hear the Bhagavatam, he said, and he quoted several verses. Does anybody know what verses he quoted? To show that if people heard the Bhagavatam, that they would be saved from the trouble of material life. Can anybody think of the verses? Well, it started with Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Swakata Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana. Come on in if you know these. Nityaṁ takstohi badrani vidu noti suritsatam nashta prayeshu badreshu Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā bhagavati-uttama-shloke bhaktir bhavati nastiki tada rajastamo bhava kama-lobha dayashtaye cheta ite anavidam stitam sattve prasidati evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavad tattva vijnana mukta sangasya jayate Vidite hriya grantishchante sarva samshaya shyante chasya karmani vishteva manishvare. Prabhupada specifically quoted these verses and he said, first one, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Swakata Krishna. If anybody hears this katha about Krishna, then such a person's heart will be benefited. Why? Because Krishna is there within the heart. He notices that the person's hearing Krishna katha, and Krishna then personally helps that person become purified in heart. He winnows out the various impurities within the heart of such a person who just listens. And the next verse indicates how that person makes more progress. He starts rising up to a higher level of spiritual consciousness and then becomes fully aware that I'm not part of this material world. I'm actually a servant of Krishna. And then Vidite Hriya Grantish, his connection to the material world is cut. No more suffering in the material world. And there's a whole life of devotional service ahead. So that was Prabhupada's formula for saving the world, is to distribute the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. That's why he brought it with him on the Jaladuta. And so we have now an opportunity to take up the mission because Prabhupada said, kindly help me. Say those words, kindly help me. So if you have a project or a great need and you ask people, kindly help me. And what if let's say you're stuck in your house, you can't get out, and put out a little SMS and says, kindly help me. And then the people come over to your house to help you out. How do you feel? Not bad, right? You feel like, wow, these are my true friends. They came to help me. It was raining, there was COVID, there was, everything. They came. So Prabhupada said, kindly help me. And anybody can then just say, okay, what? How can I help? So one of the ways he talked about helping him was to distribute books to as many people as possible. And he told us to use our brains. How many people here have a brain? If you do, raise your hand. I'll raise mine halfway. Okay, one person raise your hand. Come on now. Raise your hand if you have a brain. See, that was an easy one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So he said, use your brain to figure out how you can spread Krishna consciousness. So we can do that, right? Say yes.
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 Okay, then it can be done. So here's a few points. I know it says Europe 2021, which proves we were in Europe sometime recently. But actually, this is a global initiative. We have 7 continents in the world, for those of you who lost count or never counted in the first place. One of them has mostly ice and penguins. That's Antarctica. And we just got a pledge the other day for 10 Bhagavatam sets for Antarctica. Yay! Like to join the Antarctica team. If you have an interest in zoology and penguins, please let us know. We're going to send you over there.
Okay,
And-
because I'm gonna distribute all.
Okay. So we have 6 major palettes in the world on which to paint a picture of the Krishna consciousness movement. And so we're on one of the important ones. And then there's devotees all over the world who are also joining in. Devotees in Africa, devotees in Europe. Russia, of course, is counted in as part of the European continent, but they have their own impetus and Russian books and so forth. Then we have Asia, we have Australia and New Zealand, we have South America. And so there are all these continents all over the world, and everyone on every continent now has a stake in this. For instance, last year we had a goal to distribute at least 25,000 sets of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatams. And then we work together all over the world, that is, as one global team. We're all in competition against ourselves as one global team to reach that goal. Do you know how we did last year in 2021 for sets of Bhagavatams? If you get the exact number that we distributed worldwide, then I will give you a something. I must have something in my bag there.
50,000?
No, it was a little less than that. Yes,
I think it is like 30,000.
35,833. So we did like 35,000 sets of Bhagavatams, and that's working with the idea that everything counts, everybody's on the team, and we're in it together. So when you work as a team, then everyone can do what they can do, and everyone can do a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone can do their level best, which usually turns out to just be a little bit. So if everyone does a little bit, then it comes out to be a
Success.
lot and a success. So that's one of the ways in which we're working. Are we all good
Yes, true.
as far as technology
It's
goes?
all done during COVID?
Oh, yeah, that's better.
Actually, we had the biggest year ever, the biggest increase that we've had in decades during COVID. And that tells you something about the will of the devotees, and also about what obstacles are their opportunities. So at the beginning of the COVID, actually, I'll tell you a quick story. And that is that we had started an initiative called Badra Purnima campaign, because we discovered, it was right under our noses all this time, but there's a date on the calendar, and it is a full moon in the month of Badra, which is usually September. And it says in the Bhagavatam, the 12th canto, that if you give away a set of Bhagavatams to somebody on Badra Purnima, on that day, then you get the return gift of going back home back to Godhead. So we thought, well, that's not a bad idea. So we started to propagate that in 2018. And a few places took it up, and we did about 7,000 sets of Bhagavatams. And then the next year, we did just about the same. So I don't like plateaus very much. They really irritate me, getting stuck in one place. So we had a GBC meeting that I attended in Tirupati. It was a midterm GBC meeting, And at the GBC meeting, I discussed with this GBC body this interest that ISKCON has in distributing Prabhupada's Bhagavatam sets, and that why don't we work together, and as one global team, we could try to do more. And so everyone thought that was a good idea. So I have a video of this in front of the whole GBC, and everybody assembled there in Tirupati. I made a declaration that we had set a goal for 10,000 sets of Bhagavatams for 2020. This was in 2019 that I made the goal. You know, that's before anybody knew anything about masks or viruses and things like that. Not that the world was perfect by any means, but so anyway, everyone said, yay, let's do it. Then came 2020, and what happened then? That's correct. You are correct. So 2020, COVID-19 came in. I remember coming home from India. My tour was in February, and seeing people with masks and hearing something about something spreading and blah, blah, blah. And so by March, then COVID really started hitting hard. And as it went around the world and there were orders for everyone to shut down, there was a understandable sense that many devotees have that, well, that's not going to happen. The 10,000, I mean, we'll just wait till it goes away. Probably go away in a few months. And also, you know, why would we put ourselves out? We'll just ride this out. But a few devotees had a different idea. We said, well, we made the goal. We can't miss it. In fact, there was a tradition at our temple in ISV called ISKCON of Silicon Valley. That's what ISV stands for externally, but internally it stands for individual, spontaneous, and voluntary, which is the kind of environment in which everyone wants to do service just because they want to do it, because they think it's a good idea. And so some devotees said, we're going to try anyway. And so they started different ways of innovative ways in order to distribute sets of Bhagavatams during that time. And as it turned out, people were very interested. And as it turned out, there was really good ways of reaching out to people without having to actually meet them face to face. We could meet them on the phone, on Zoom, on Facebook, on social media, and talk to them about Bhagavatam. In fact, it turned out that a lot of people were looking for answers. Why is the world the way it is? And they were very interested in the Bhagavatam. Well, as it turned out in 2020, although the goal was 10,000 in the very beginning, there were even some continents in which the leaders had said, we're just going to wait this out. There's no sense in pushing this. But because of COVID, we also have the opportunity to meet by Zoom, which sped up our communications all over the world. We were able to jump from one continent to the next and talk to all the leaders. And what happened was that the word spread that actually COVID's a really good time for distributing books. And the devotees all over the world rose to the occasion in various ways. And we smashed the 10,000 goal. And we did it actually within the last 3 weeks. That's when everyone finally caught on and thought, you know, we can actually do this, but we only have a few weeks left. You know, Marsh Katmanga, right? He got it all done in a minute. So they did over 20,000 sets of Bhagavatams in 2020. And then we set the goal at 25 for 2021, and we did 35,000 plus. So we have a goal now that by 2026, that's 5 years hence, we should have the capacity worldwide to distribute at least 100,000 sets of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Say, yay! Yay! Tampa, Florida is going to be a major part of that, because what I see before me here are sages at Naimisharanya, and every one of you is a CEO type person who can expand the Sankirtan movement in your own way, really unlimitedly. You have a big field, which is Tampa, Florida, and the whole world. Whichever direction you wish to go, there are openings everywhere. And one of the ways that we're doing it is to establish the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam as the most important book in the world. Confirmed, when your garland breaks, when you say something, it means that it's going to come true. Say, Haribol. So that's a done deal. Haribo. So I like this place because of you. I like this spirit that you have of community, of working together to spread Krishna consciousness. I like that you have very advanced senior elder leaders who come here regularly. I like that you have young leaders who are dedicated to being here and showing an example of both how to do sadhana and how to expand Krishna consciousness. And I like that you don't have much overhead. Because fixing roofs and figuring out how to unplug the the drain pipes in the kitchen, it's necessary when you have infrastructure, but you don't have that right now. So you can grow unlimitedly. The best way to grow, and this has come from my own personal experience, we started at our little community, one horse community in ISKCON Silicon Valley in 1999, and we didn't have anything. We didn't have even a place. We just had somebody's house and we put the deities in the house. And then the neighbors kicked us out because they said, this is not a church. We live in a quiet neighborhood. Then we moved to a tiny little storefront. And after a couple of years, the landlord kicked us out because he said, this is not a place for Kumbh Mela. And then we got a little commercial building in an unincorporated area. And the guy didn't care, the landlord didn't care, but he did like raising the prices every year. And there was no air conditioning. And we figured anybody that could, just a pit bull outside who used to chew on the devotee's shoes. And we figured if anybody could brave the 102-degree heat inside the temple, they were very sincere. So we lasted through that era, and then we got a temple, but we didn't try that hard. And our formula has always been, if you develop preaching, if you develop book distribution, if you develop the spirit of being the best givers in the world and going out and doing good for others, then Krishna will fly over and drop a temple on your head. And you'll be sitting there one day and say, wow, how do we get inside a temple? And say, I don't know, but let's keep going out on Sankirtan. And he'll drop a bigger temple on our head when we need it. And that formula works very well. So you have an opportunity here. It's a startup. Startups, usually, the ones we know about that have been very successful, like Hewlett-Packard and Apple, they started in a little garage, right? Are they doing okay now? Yeah, they're doing all right. So same thing with Tampa. This is a place that has rivers full of cash flowing through it, and they're just waiting to be funneled into the distribution of Bhagavad Gita and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. You have an above average population as far as education goes. It's a university town. Everything that you need to be successful. Agree?
We have ever increasing number of people moving here.
An ever increasing number of people moving here. So this is a formula, or it's a canvas to work on that you can be very successful. Everyone who thinks that you will be very successful, more successful than you already are now, please say Haribol.
Haribol.
There it is. We got it. We're in, right?
Yes.
Say yes.
Yes.
When anybody says you're in or you want to go back to Godhead, you just go, yes.
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 Faster. You want to go back to Godhead?
Yes.
Yeah, someone just give you a free ride, whoever said yes first. Okay, so let's look at a few points. I'm going to make a few points. And this is a list of some of the points I'm going to make about our legacy. I'm going to teach you 4 laws of book distribution, and follow law. Who here is going to follow the law?
Me.
Yes, you're in. Everybody else who did raise your hand, you can go wait outside in the rain. Okay, then how to organize an MSF. What's MSF stand for? Monthly Sankirtan Festival. Then I'm going to teach you how to distribute a Bhagavad Gita. Now, I guarantee this. Once you learn how to distribute a Bhagavad Gita from me here today, and I'm going to give you this card. You can pass these out. And on this card, you'll find on the back the QR code. And all you have to do is scan the QR code. And if you don't know how to do it, ask a kid next to you. And on your device, whatever device you scan it on, you're going to have all the information you need to grow an empire of book distribution here in Tampa Bay. To grow a what?
Empire.
I'm not convinced that you guys are even awake. We're going to grow a what here?
Empire
of book distribution. That is correct. We're going to grow an empire. Are you convinced? Say yes. Okay. All right. So, and I guarantee once you learn this technique of how to sell a Bhagavad Gita, I guarantee you'll be able to sell a Bhagavad Gita to anybody at any time, at any place. And if you offer it and they don't take it, I'll pay for it myself. Okay? Say yes.
Yes.
All right. And I'm going to show you how to distribute full sets of Bhagavatams. And then we're going to talk about communications 101 if we have a little time. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. So, first of all, our legacy. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Ki Jai. This means go. So, Sampradaya. Everyone say Sampradaya.
Sampradaya.
Literally, Sampradaya means the complete gift. We are gift givers. What we're doing is giving to the world. And it's a bequeathment. It gets passed down from the biggest giver of all, who's Krishna. And we get to be part of the gift-giving process. And that's what a Sampradaya is. You get to sign up to be a gift giver. Who wants to be a gift giver? Okay. So here's how to be successful in devotional service and in book distribution. Imitate or follow in the footsteps, rather, of Advaita Acharya. Because Advaita Acharya, as you'll notice from reading the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, figured out that if he cried out to the Lord with sincere prayers, that the Lord would answer them. That's all right. They're able to see it online. So the way to be successful in book distribution, you'll see it at the very bottom here. What is the solution? How do you do it?
Pray hard.
I'll tell you a little inside secret about how I first got into book distribution. I joined the temple in San Francisco in 1973, and it was just at the beginning of a really big spike in book distribution around 1973. And around the time I joined the temple, I had heard that a devotee in Los Angeles had sold 40 hardbound Krishna books. That sounded so impossible. I didn't know one thing for another because I had just joined, but a lot of the elder devotees in the temple said that's impossible. They must be making it up because devotees were only used to selling Back to Godhead magazines for a quarter and sometimes one or two big books maybe in a day, and that was a big deal. But 40 big books consistently every day, somebody was selling in Los Angeles, we said, oh, that couldn't be true. But then we verified it, so we had to live with it. So the way I lived with it was, I went to our book room in the San Francisco temple. I got 40 big books. I piled them up in front of me, and then I used to chant my japa there every day. And I'd sit in front of the books, and I'd chant to the books, and I prayed hard. And I said, please, Krishna, show me how to distribute 40 big books in a day. And very soon afterwards, the very person who is selling 40 big books today just happened to come to San Francisco and said, here, I'll show you how to do it. So how do you get successful in Sankirtan?
Pray hard.
How do you get successful in devotional service?
Pray hard.
What should you do when you're chanting your japa?
Pray hard.
Haribol.
Haribol.
Okay. So what happened when he prayed hard? Mahaprabhu appeared. That's a big deal. Lord Chaitanya Mahāprabhu himself appeared in the world because of Advaita Acharya's prayers. And here is the mission that Lord Chaitanya Mahāprabhu, can we get rid of that thing on the top? Let go away. Oh, that's because it's Zoom, right?
Yeah, you can hide the whole.
It's just kind of a little bit obstructing slides.
You can click on more and select hide.
Hey, good.
Hide floating control.
Thank you. Good. Thank you, Prabhu. 20 points. Everyone gets to contribute to the Sankirtan party. Okay, now Lord Chaitanya Mahāprabhu, Lord Chaitanya Mahāprabhu appeared, and there's only two parts. So this is simple movement. There's only 2 parts to the whole movement, and I'm going to teach them to you right now. Are you ready?
Yes.
You pay attention now because there's going to be a quiz. First one is chant Hare Kṛṣṇa. Second one is teach others. What's number 1? What's number 1? Very good. You're in. You're part of the program. What's the second one?
Teach others.
Hare Krishna.
Teach others.
A little more. Come on, help me now.
Chant Hare Krishna. Teach others. Chant Hare Krishna. Teach others. Teach others. Teach others. Teach others. Chant Hare Krishna. Chant Hare Krishna. Chant Hare Krishna. Chant Hare Krishna. Teach others. Chant Hare Krishna. Teach others.
See, if I wake you up at 1 o'clock in the morning tomorrow and say, what's this movement for? You'll say,
Chant Hare Krishna. Teach others.
2 parts. That's it. It's 2 parts to the whole movement. That's all you have to know. It's a simple movement. You can teach anybody how to do this, how to join the movement, because we only have 2 parts, right?
Chant Hare Krishna. Teach others.
So that's what Lord Chaitanya did, and that's what we do. Very simple. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu opened up a marketplace for the holy name. Now, marketing, it's part quantitative reasoning, also qualitative reasoning. You have to think about psychology. You have to think about demographic. Marketers in here? Back me up on this. Any marketers? You have to think in terms of time, place, circumstance, supply chain management, and what's the best way to approach people, what to tell them, mission statements, and so forth. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu opened up the marketplace for the holy name. And what was his mission statement?
Every town and village.
Isn't that a good mission statement?
Yes.
So we finished, right? We have Krishna conscious movement already spread. We don't have any more work to do right here. Right? It's done, right?
No.
The world's already covered. Every town and village is already covered, right? Right. So we now have the opportunity to help fulfill the mission statement of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Every town and village means every language too. If you go to reach every town and village, you have to get books in every language, right? Yes. So look at already, there's Chaitanya Mahāprabhu dancing down the streets of Tampa Bay, Florida. So it started, but we get to be part of it at the very beginning. We're at only 5 minutes after Chaitanya Mahāprabhu was here. Okay, after Chaitanya Mahāprabhu came, there's a time when the movement became hidden because this is the nature of this world, that everything becomes degraded in due course of time due to the 3 modes of material nature. Krishna tells Uddhava that in the 11th canto of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And it was going on, but behind closed doors. Then, Thakur Bhaktivinoda reopened the marketplace of the holy name. Everyone say, Jai Bhaktivinoda.
Jai Bhaktivinoda.
If you want to make advancement in devotional service, just pray to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He's a powerhouse of bhakti, who reopened the marketplace in 1891 so that we could all take place and people of the world can become saved by Lord Chaitanya's movement. He declared at Surabhi Kunj, the marketplace of the holy name is again open. Haribol.
Haribol.
So Bhaktivinoda Thakur had a prayer and a prediction. So one of the prayers was that someone would appear in his family who would be such a luminary that he would be able to help spread the Sankirtan movement all over the world. You feel the sense, like Advaitacharya was praying, please, Lord Chaitanya, come. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was praying hard. Please help, please send somebody who could actually help spread the Krishna conscious movement in a significant way. We can do that too. You know, even in our yatra here in Tampa, Florida, we can say, my dear Lord Chaitanya,
My dear Lord
if
Chaitanya,
you so desire,
if you so desire,
please send us Sankirtan devotees.
Please send us Sankirtan devotees.
Please empower all of us.
Please empower all of us.
Please send unlimited resources
Please send unlimited resources
so that we can help expand the Sankirtan movement.
so we can help expand the Sankirtan movement.
Thank you for considering our request.
thank you for
considering our request.
Om Tat Sat.
Om Tat Sat.
You just dialed in a powerful prayer here. You better get ready. And that's exactly what Bhaktivinoda Thakur did. And then he made a prediction. He said, a personality will soon appear who will help to spread the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. So this is how he was meditating all the time. Meanwhile, there were great pure devotees like Gaura Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. The pure holy knight was always present on the planet, but the movement was hidden. And then appeared, as we know, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He was a son of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he helped to expand the marketplace all over India. He had designs on other parts of the world. He sent devotees to Burma. He sent devotees to London. And he wanted to reach the shores of, or the boundary of India and go all over the world. That was his desire because he was very successful in the Gaudiya Math all over India. And then he told his disciple, who was his disciple? Abhay Charanaravinda. And he was a householder, and he asked his spiritual master, what can I do to be of service to you? And he said, if you ever get money, buy a boat, right?
Print books.
If you ever get money, get a new car. No? If you ever get money, just build stuff, get bricks and mortar and build things. If you ever get money, stay back and you can have as many sweets as you like. No? So what did he actually say? If you ever get money?
Print books.
Okay. That's correct. And Srila Prabhupada said, our Prabhupada, who's just, as he said over and over again, I'm following the order of my spiritual master. He said, I took up this from his mouth that he is very fond of books. Yes. So then Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada caused that marketplace to spread all over the world. How many times did he circle the globe? 14 times. Who said 11? I believe you better than me. So I heard 14 times. Well, let's ask our research department.
Yeah, I also was going to say like 40.
See, that's why I keep them on. Okay. All right, so he spread it all over the world. Then here's his first flyer to sell the Bhāgavatam. See, he was marketing. This is a marketing program we got going on here, right? So what does it say there? You can click it, it'll enlarge. He said 60 volumes of elaborate English version. You know how many he had at that time? 3 volumes. Actually, one first canto, but he only had, it was in three parts. But he was saying of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So he was saying, we're going to have 60 volumes of elaborate English version. And he was all alone. He had no money and no means. And he says, all over the world for scientific knowledge of God. That's expansive thinking. So at least we can think all over Tampa Bay, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahāprabhu says, and that's why I said Lord's plan. This is an idea of how Lord Chaitanya is thinking according to the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, which is how we know what he's thinking. I want everyone to be immersed in this inundation of love of Godhead. Everyone read that out loud.
Everyone to be immersed in this inundation of love of God.
One more time.
I want everyone to be immersed in this inundation of love of God.
That's how Lord Chaitanya is thinking. Isn't that nice to know? Okay, now let's see the next slide. Here's Prabhupada's plan. Remember the last one? Go back one. This is the Lord's plan. Here's Prabhupada's plan. And it parallels Lord Chaitanya's. Let's see what Prabhupada said. By printing books, we can actually inject our movement into the masses of people all over the world. Let's read it together.
By printing books, we can actually inject our movement into the masses.
See how there's a parallel? Okay, then Prabhupada writes in a letter, I like this idea of distributing books and preaching. That is Lord Chaitanya's plan. Nicely ties all together, right? Okay, next. So we are in a sampradaya. What does sampradaya mean? The complete gift. And we're gift givers. So did you know that our sampradaya is called the sampradaya of the book? You can say no if you didn't know. Did you know? Okay, let me show you something interesting. Now I'm going to quiz you quite rigorously here. Are you ready?
Yes.
Say yes.
Yes.
Say
Yes.
Okay, here we go. What about this picture? Move that picture of whoever that is up there. What is anachronistic about this picture? By the way, what does anachronistic mean? Something that seems like not at the right time. What looks anachronistic or out of place in this picture? First of all, when was this picture taken? Was it with iPhone 10, 11, or 12?
Oh, very long time back. But there
Was it before the smartphone?
Yes.
When would you say this was? Circa when?
Before the world existed. Before everything existed on this planet.
I like that. Just say the beginning of creation. So what's funny about this picture then? Yes, Prabhu. He has a book. So what's funny about Lord Brahma having a book at the beginning of creation?
There was nobody to read it.
There's nobody to read it. Well, he had 4 heads. He could have read it. But what else is challenging technologically? Yes.
Lord Krishna's belly connects the right heart of the ear.
Lord Krishna's flute is connecting Lord
Belly.
Brahma's ear. His belly. Oh, actually, I think that's a flute song coming into his ear.
Years.
No, it's about the book. There was no Kinkos. There was no Krishna copy.
No printers.
There was no printers at that time. Where do you all get your stuff printed?
From the printing.
There were no HP printers. There was nothing. No one would print a book, right? So how is it holding a book? There wasn't even a conception of a book at that time. So the reason is, and you'll find it in most pictures of Lord Brahma at the beginning of creation, he's holding a book in the Vaishnava Sampradaya because we are the Sampradaya of the
Book.
Say book. It's an easy thing. Book.
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 Book. Book. Book. I'm warming you up because I'm going to test you a little more here. Are you ready? Next one. Okay, who's this? Here's a clue over here. And what is he sitting there with? Okay, a book. Everyone say.
A book.
Yeah, work with me on this. Okay, who's the next one? Who's this? Yeah, what's he holding in his hand over there? A book. They looked a little different back then. They were on palm leaves, but it's a book. Say a book. Okay, who's this? What's he kneeling before? Okay, you need a little more emphasis there. Next, what's he writing? Next. What are they famous for? Yeah, books. Who's this? Hey, wait a minute, I just noticed this myself. What's he posing with? Books? Yeah, okay, let's see one more. Who's this? I'm starting to see a pattern. What's he posing with? Books. Who's that? What's he posing with? Books. Do you see any pattern here? Anybody see a pattern? Yes. Root Sampradaya of the book. So books change the world. They inject themselves into human society, and the ideologies, the ideas within the books become inculcated into society. So here's an example. We're in America now. This is called sometimes the Great Experiment. And the book called Common Sense, written by Thomas Paine, is still, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, the best-selling book of all time per capita of any other book that ever was written. It's a great book, by the way. It's really well written. And Thomas Paine sold his book in the colonies, before this was America, to most of the population that was there. He had a good marketing program. And people were very eager to read it because the change was in the air. And what was the result, according to historians? The American Revolution. They all concur that the book called Common Sense, after people read it, galvanized the people of the colonies, and they rose up against a mighty army, the British Army, and they declared independence from the Crown of England and wrote the Declaration of Independence based on the Magna Carta. So that's how it happened because of a book. Next thing, let's see another one. Who here has heard of evolution? Evolution. The theory of evolution. You've heard of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, how many here have the book called Origin of the Species? Maybe think hard, maybe it's in your car somewhere. Maybe you left it in your office. Origin of the Species. How many here have read the Origin of the Species? Yet everybody knows about evolution, right? How did that get out into the world? Because
Do people talking about it?
that's right, because the book went out and the ideas in the book spilled out into human society, and now they're embedded everywhere because of the ideas in that book. Even though you don't have it, you've not read it, you've heard it ad infinitum or ad nauseum about the theory of evolution. So let's see another one. We used to have handwritten books. Now you see that? Those little images there are script. No, that's not Sanskrit. It looks more like Telugu or something. You go back just one more. See, these are palm leaves. From the very beginning of human society, humans have been trying to write on different things. Sometimes they wrote on stones, leaves, and this is a leaf. If you take a palm leaf and you make a mark on it with a little metal stylus, you have to press down. And then once you're done pressing and you write out these letters, then you have to take it and put it in the sun. And when it stays in the sun, then the dark impressions show up. And then you can read the letters. So how long would it take you to write the Bhagavad Gita by hand doing that method? What is your name? Rama. Rama, how long do you think it would take you to copy the Bhagavad Gita by hand? Maybe a whole day, right? It'd take Rama a whole day. Maybe 3 years too. Right. So we had handwritten books at a certain time in history, not too long ago. And then there was this fellow named Gutenberg. He was a Christian and he wanted that the Bible go out to people all over the world. Kumbh Mela starting out there. If anyone knows. It's music. It's beautiful. It's Krishna, because then there's a heart response that somebody needs help. Okay, so he invented a printing press that could print like 14 Bibles at a time. Maybe it was 24. In any case, it became automatic. The Royal Bible Society then developed better technology, kind of like a technological advance we've seen in many of our lifetimes, where things went from analog to digital, and then it became outrageously advanced. So that's what happened in the printing business. And so the printing press became very powerful. Bibles started going out all over the world, even in the Protestant tradition. The papers that represented the philosophy of Protestantism went around the world, and we can see a marked increase in the various ideologies as soon as the books went out. You can follow the trail of the books. This is a picture, a hand drawing of one of the printing presses that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur purchased from Cleveland, Ohio in America, and had shipped to Calcutta, India, where the Bhag Bazar Mandir, a big temple they built, is. And he set up several of these presses, and he kept them going all the time. And you know where he put the press? Right next to the deities. Because he said the deities and this press are equally worshipable, because this is the Brihat Madanga. Brihat Madanga means it's the bigger Madanga because it's spreading the Lord's glories further than this kind of Madanga where you go on a street corner and you sing. And so that one of the printing presses is still there. You can go to the museum and you can offer your obeisances to the printing press. Books are containers. Books are what?
Containers.
Yes.
Because they contain.
What do they contain? They contain idea seeds and human beings are like, not just human beings, but jivas. What kind of energy are jivas according to the Shastra? Pardon?
Marginal.
Who said marginal? What is your name? You're studying the Shastras a lot, right? Very good, Prabhu. Marginal energy. Those Sanskrit, sometimes called tatasta. This is marginal. And another way to say it is jivas are open to suggestion. Like if you tell somebody something, like, hey, you should buy, like, have you ever been shopping and you just got what you need and you're walking out of the shop? Let's say you go to, has anybody ever been to Lowy Bazaar in Vrindavan shopping? You go in and you just want one gamsha, and you're walking out the door, and the guy says, "You want sari?" And all of a sudden you stop and you go, "Yeah, I need sari." And you go back and you come back home like chiffon, silk, everything. You're like, "What'd you do?" It's like the guy said this mantra and it went right in my ear. I was like, "You want sari?" And then I was like, "Yeah, you gotta have saris." So they're empowered too. So every soul is tatasta, marginal. So that means each soul is open to suggestion. It means you can say something in the person's ear, and they may adopt it because they can. They're marginal. They can go any direction at any time, right? Okay. So success is not a mystery. It's a recipe. So if you want to make great cakes and pies, you don't have to speculate. You don't have to start over in the kitchen and figure it all out. It'll never happen. But if you get a recipe, or if you have to steal one, then you can make great cakes and pies. And you don't even have to tell anybody. Yeah, I knew this all the time. And you just follow the recipe. So same thing for how to expand book distribution. You get the recipe and you follow it. What do you think? What is your opinion?
Yeah.
What is your name?
Josh.
You're in. He said, yeah, he's in. You're on the team. Okay, let's see. Here's the 4 laws of book distribution. Now, if you follow these 4 laws, don't break the law. You follow these, I guarantee you're going to be successful, and I guarantee Tampa Bay is going to be an empire for book distribution. Now you got to follow the laws. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you going to follow the law when I show it to you?
Yes.
Promise me.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Law number 1, your sadhana must be strong. Say it.
Your sadhana must be strong.
Yes, sadhana, strong sadhana means strict, serious, and sincere. Strict, serious, and sincere. And if you practice strict, serious, and sincere sadhana, then you'll get a taste. And Sankirtan means from absorption in your taste, you'll become advanced and you'll have overflow to distribute. So what are people buying when you go out to distribute? They're looking at you and they're saying, oh, look at this person. How did this person get like this? I want to be like that. They don't know much about the book, but they do know what they feel from you. And if you chant not good rounds, but great rounds. Now, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, don't try to be a great devotee, just try to be a good devotee. But you should, this is my addendum, you should try to chant great rounds. Make japa great again. It's a campaign we have. And somebody stole that idea from us. So, your day starts the night before. Go to bed on time. You said you're going to follow me, right?
Yes.
Okay. Go to bed on time so you can wake up early. Start a japa circle so you can chant with other people and chant great rounds. Not good rounds, but great rounds. Then, see, we even thought of the hat before anybody else. Make your japa great again. And if it went down a little bit yesterday, then make it great again today. Or if it was good a year ago, or I remember 10 years ago, I used to chant great japa. Make it great again. Keep coming back to it. Okay? Win with the basics. You always win with basics. So some of the basics in your sadhana are Bhagavad Gita. Now we recommend chant 1 chapter of Bhagavad Gita every day. A chapter a day. Because small victories add up. And if you just do a little bit, Chiri Motsumareva Yamatanaru. It's Japanese saying, says little grains they add up to a mountain. So you'll become like as strong as a mountain in devotional service if you chant one chapter of Bhagavad Gita a day. Prabhupada said, please encourage the others to read this Bhagavad Gita at least one chapter every day. He said, Bhagavad Gita is as it is, should be read by all of my students at least one chapter per day. How many per day?
One
chapter per day.
No, you always say at least. Because this is like a legal term. In any goal you make, always say at least, because that gives you the right to exceed your goal if you want to. Because someone around you might say, hey, you're done now. You said that's all you're going to do. He said, I said at least. I can do more if I want to. And who can stop you then? So you got to be attentive to the details. So you can go to readchad.com. Chad means chapter a day. It's an underground international secret organization, but you can join it by going to readchad.com, and you can sign up and say, I'm going to chant one chapter of Bhagavad Gita every day, no matter what. How many people would like to entertain the thought? This is a powerful option. Okay. Here's another way that you can have strict, serious, and sincere sadhana, to read all of Prabhupada's books. Now, how do you do that? Because there's too many to read, right? Isn't it? Well, guess what? There's a finite number of pages in all of Prabhupada's books. Did you know that? They're not infinite. Therefore, you can count how many. And if you go to the App Store, you can get a free app. And it's for iOS and also for, what's that other one?
Android.
Yeah, Android. So there's Android and iOS free apps. It's called Be a Sage Page by Page. And on this app, you can scroll through and you can find out how many pages you have to read each day in order to finish all of Prabhupada's Bhagavatam or the Bhagavad Gita within a given amount of time. So how long do you think it would take to read the whole Bhagavatam? How many pages do you think you'd have to read every day to finish the whole Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, all 12 cantos, in 1 year?
41.
My main man. You're one of the leaders here. Okay, so 41 pages a day, that's a fact. And if you wanted to finish it in 5 years, how many pages? 8 pages a day, pretty good. 8 pages a day, finish the whole Bhagavatam, 5 years, you're going to be 5 years older in 5 years anyway. But if you've read the whole Bhagavatam, you're going to be an exalted personality, more exalted than you are now. Okay, law number 2 is you must get books. Show the next slide. Because you can't distribute books you don't have. Only there's a slight caveat to that, and that is during the shipping debacle and printing debacle during the pandemic, we found out that you don't actually physically have to have the book in your hand. The idea of the book has to be there, but you can distribute books even if they're not shipped to you yet. We found that out in France because they didn't have the French Bhagavatam, but they told people that we'll give it to you when it arrives. Could you pay for it now? And they said, yes, no problem. So the next one is, and this is the same one, it's get books, everyone say.
Get books.
Now let me teach you what they do in the military when you join in boot camp. Not that I know anything about that, but when you first join, they teach you to say things in a certain way, like sir, yes, sir. But you say like, sir, yes, sir.
Sir.
Sir, yes, sir.
Sir, yes, sir.
Sir, yes, sir.
Except for you, everyone's kicked out of the military. You get to stay. Okay, sir, yes, sir.
Sir, yes, sir.
I like this. Sir, yes, sir.
Sir, yes, sir.
Put a little more like reverence into it. 1, 2, 3.
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay. Now say this. Now say this in the same way. 1, 2, 3.
Get books.
Everybody. 1, 2, 3.
Get books.
Yeah. So get books, and if you get books, you can distribute them. You can't distribute books you don't have. Okay, next is a picture of people getting books, and it's one of the most beautiful sights in the world when your book room is getting filled up, when your car is getting filled up, when your house is getting filled up. We could put a lot of books in this room, don't you think? Prabhu? Where'd Prabhu go?
Kartik Prabhu.
We could put a lot of books in here.
Yeah, actually, we have books.
Yeah, no, but this room could fill up.
Be aware of.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Okay, so get all the languages. Remember, every town and village needs all the different languages. So there are many languages, like there's Mandarin, there's Japanese, there's, pardon? There's Zulu. I distributed books in Zulu. When I went to Africa, you can get Zulu books. Find out what the people speak in your area and make sure you have those books. Don't pass over anybody because it's every town and village. Next. Use language cards. Language cards you can download from distributebooks.com, and it's a really easy way to distribute books to people who don't speak your language. It's easier than if you do speak their language. Number 3, you say this one twice, but not military. 1, 2, 3.
The more you sell.
One more time.
The more you show, the more you sell.
Yeah. The books, once you show them, people get interested because little Jiva's wandering around the universe. And when he sees something nice, he's open to suggestion, he might take it. Here's Devamrita Swami showing books. Here's Premi showing books. Here's Śrī Vaisesika Prabhu showing books. That's Bhāgavata-Prabhu showing books. There's a little box showing books. There's a devotee going door to door to show books. There's devotees on the beach showing books. There's devotees in a marketplace at an event showing books. So you can show books anywhere, but you got to show them for people to take them, because once they see them, they'll take them. So figure out, innovate. There's not one way to do it. There's millions. There's unlimited ways to show books. You can do it digitally. You can do it by having it start a circus. You want to start a circus? And that's Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. They had carnivals, and he'd get people to come in, and then inside the carnival grounds, there were bhajans going on. Outside, cotton candy. Inside, gulab jamun. Number 4, this law is you must organize. Everyone say.
You must organize.
Yeah, Prabhupada's 7th purpose of ISKCON was to publish and distribute periodicals, magazines, and books and other writings so that you could, with a view to achieving the aforementioned. That means you can achieve all the 6 previously mentioned purposes by distributing books. Okay, let me just take a pause and see how everyone's doing. I'm going at a fast pace here because we have to do a little training also. How much time do we have now? Please say an hour.
At least 25, 30 minutes.
Okay, 25, 30 minutes. I'm going to need that to train you how to sell a Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so this point, there's 4 laws. What's the first law? If you pass this test, then I'll be really quick. Otherwise, we'll be here all night. Okay. Okay, first is?
Good sadhana.
Yeah, your sadhana must be strong. That's a nice cadence. Your sadhana must be strong. Everyone say.
Sadhana must be strong.
Okay, second law of book distribution. You can say it military.
Get books.
You'll be kicked out of the military. But number 3 is?
Show books.
Show.
The more you show, the more you sell.
The more you show, the more you sell. We always say it twice, but it's so important.
The more you show, the more you sell. The more you show, the more you sell.
You just show them and people will take them because little Jiva's wandering around. And number 4, you must organize. Because if you want to do this as a hobby, you can just, be unorganized. You don't know where the key to the book room is. You don't know when the books are arriving. That was somebody else's business. That's not organization. Means that you get everything tighter and you make improvements every month. And you make goals. You have to have goals. You know who Will McCoy is? You know Will McCoy?
No.
Paramahamsa.
Oh.
He said goals are potent. I love that quote and I always include it. Okay, set goals. You have to set goals to be organized. Manage your inventory and finances. Build a follow-up system. Here's some of the follow-up systems like Bhakti Community, Studio 108, School of Bhakti. These are all making tons of new Western devotees because the follow-up system is so well thought out. And you can franchise off of some of these, like Bhakti Community, you can get a franchise. I'm not going to show the video right now because we don't have time. This is all about Bhakti Community. We'll show it some other time. Build team spirit. What gets measured gets improved. Analyze and report scores. Innovations that flat out work. Here are a few of them. Badra Purnima, I already discussed. Keep going. Festivals and events. Go back to that one. People are already congregating for a purpose, and if you find the ones that match demographically, yes, Prabhu.
Next week is Rath Yatra.
Oh, next week, Rath Yatra is an excellent time to distribute books. Fantastic. Motel Gita, placing books in motels. We have a huge organization. We've almost distributed 1 million Bhagavad Gitas now. Corporate Sankirtan, that's a big topic, but it's a good one for Tampa because we've been very successful in raising funds for book distribution through the corporate channels in ISKCON of Silicon Valley. Last year, total, our temple raised from selling books, book receipts, $1.2 million. And we're just a tiny little temple with a bunch of babies running around in diapers. Seriously. Okay. Kids Sankirtan. This has been going on since kids. I took out a group of 5-5-year-olds, and then book distribution. Since then, the Kids Sankirtan has been an institution at ISKCON of Silicon Valley. Kids love Sankirtan. Always sell books in bunches like bananas. Stack mania. You see, you tie them all together like that. If people buy a stack, you just explain what each book is in 10 seconds or less, and then people buy the whole stack. Gita Jayanti is huge. We call it World Gita Day now. And we have books in many different languages. These are many different initiatives. We sent last year thousands of Bhagavatam sets to villages in India that are being converted to Islam and Christianity and so forth. We have no objection to people spreading their particular ideologies around the world, except for when they use very heavy-handed tactics. But we find that when people are able to get a Bhagavatam in the village, there's hundreds of thousands of villages in India. Then it fortifies the whole village. We're finding villages that people rally around the Bhagavatam, and it reminds them of the culture. And it's a very necessary thing. So that's one of the initiatives. Here's a few success principles. One is assume it can be done, because it's Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's empowerment that allows us to do what we're doing here. And he's the greatest capitalist, spiritual capitalist. So if you go to a venture capitalist and you ask for some funding, they may or may not give, but Lord Chaitanya always gives for any idea. You just have to have faith in it, and he'll help fulfill your desire. Next one is encourage the heck out of everybody. Somebody turn to someone next, everyone turn to somebody next to you and encourage the heck out of them. Okay, come on, turn to somebody next to you. Come on, encourage somebody if you haven't yet. Now look around and see if anybody looks unhappy.
I'm already the best partner.
Yeah. If you notice the energy in the room, everyone feels happy. So one of the ways that is everyone needs encouragement. Everybody, the cooks need encouragement, the leaders need encouragement, the book distributors, the kids, you have any pets? Pets need encouragement too. You tell them, you're really a smart dog, you're nice, you're good. Tell living entities, encourage them. The material world gets you down, doesn't it? Gets me down all the time. I need encouragement constantly. So this is basic principle. And then we do that in our community. And when you go out for Sankirtan, just encourage the heck out of everybody you meet. Like, you're going to be okay. Everything's great. In fact, you're a spiritual being. You're fine. You're going to be great. They need that. The world needs it. Don't you think?
Yes.
What do you think? I agree. Okay. Katvanga consciousness. Never say it's too late. Katvanga disproved that. He took it off the table. In the last minute, how am I going to attain complete perfection? Jaladuta consciousness. Don't sit around, catch a Jaladuta somewhere. You know, if it's our Jaladuta might be just a simple thing, but get up and do it. Make your life exciting. Don't stay on the dock. Don't let somebody else do it. You do it. Prabhupada just took the initiative. Everyone, all these other people thought like, oh, who's he? Who's he think he is? You're going to do this. And he spread it all over the world. So every one of us has a Jaladuta to catch, and we can follow in Prabhupada's footsteps. What do you think?
Yes.
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 How we do is more important than what we do. We have to do it in a spirit of cooperation and devotion for it to be extremely desirable, for attractive to Krishna. We should have mission-oriented management. When we have an idea of where we're going as a community, what we're shooting for, then we have the wherewithal to work around obstacles. Emphasize the team over the individual. In fact, we don't even report individual scores in many of our places, like ISV and many other temples, because when you work as a team, one team, and you compete against yourself, then everybody wants to be involved, and you don't have to worry about performing. Just do the best you can. We try to increase capacity every year. All the goals and numbers are all arbitrary because the birds fly in the sky as high as they are able, and it's an unlimited sky. And similarly, the goals we set can be unlimited also. So we just want to increase capacity. The more you give, the more you grow. Everybody, please say it.
The more you give, the more you grow.
And here's the benefits of a global team. Esprit de corps. The capacity of a group's members to maintain belief in an institution or goal, particularly in the face of opposition or hardship. That's why it's important to develop this sense that we're all working together. Resource and idea sharing. We should share ideas and resources so everybody wins all over the globe. Bhakti Krishna's high sadhana. It turns Kanishta Adhikaris into Madhyama Adhikaris. It uplifts ISKCON, communities big and small. And this goes into how to organize an MSF. But now I'm going to teach you how to sell a Bhagavad Gita. Do you have Bhagavad Gitas here?
Yes.
Good, you didn't break the law. Okay, so let me get you started on how to distribute a Bhagavad Gita. And does everyone have one of these little cards?
Yes.
Okay, did you scan it? Scan the QR code on it?
Yes.
Okay, did it come up on your screen with some options? Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. For this, I will need glasses.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Okay. I don't think this took me to where I needed to go.
The Śrīmad books, this one?
Oh, you're up here. Okay. Go to the one that talks about how to sell Bhagavad Gita. Is everyone okay? You ready to learn how to sell Bhagavad Gita? Yes?
It's not working for us.
Okay, we'll do it from here then. And I'll fix it later.
Is this right?
Yeah. Okay. Here's 8 steps to sell Bhagavad Gita. And let's see. First, I'll go through it manually. And then we're going to have the rest of you try it out. Is there more besides this? Do you have your phone?
I think it's here. It's here. It's the explanation is here. Yeah.
Can't read this.
Yeah, it's not meant to be projected up here. It's meant to be on your phone, but if it's not working, call Shani or somebody and tell them it's not working.
Sure.
You can get it because she's on the network.
Oh, I see there's no network. Is that why you can't get it?
Wi-Fi. Whoever wants, we can share the.
I don't know where to go.
Prabhu, you can bring those up here. All right, don't worry. Let's forget technology for a minute. Just watch me, okay? You put your phones away, forget the screen. Here we go. I'm going to teach you the steps. First thing is, when you're distributing the Bhagavad-Gita, or any other book for that matter, you're making a conscious contact with people, and you're going to make a decision whether or not to present them a book. So you're selecting people. What are you doing?
Selecting people.
Yeah, so when you go to pick fruits from a tree, which fruits do you pick?
Right.
Close.
That is correct. The closest, but also ripest, right? Because you don't want to go to a tree and grab onto an unripe fruit. It doesn't come off the vine and just yank it and break the branch off, right? So same thing with people. We are looking for ripe fruits, and we're fruit pickers. That's what we're going to do. We're going to look for the people who are already ready. So now let me take a lot of stress out of your life and any fear out of doing book distribution. You don't have to convince people to buy a book. You just have to be selective and find the people who are already ready to buy a book. Did I just save your life? You can thank me later.
Yeah.
All right, so now, first thing is make a conscious contact with people. Now, look in somebody's eyes somewhere in the room and notice that someone's looking back at you. Don't be afraid, look at somebody's eyes. And notice that they're looking back at you. You don't want to look too long because then and if you're driving on the freeway and you look at somebody next to you driving, they'll go like, what? Because we're conscious beings. We project outwardly and others project back to us. We're alive. We can sense other people who are alive and we know things about them just from looking at them. Okay? So now when you're distributing books, you're doing anything else, but especially distributing books, notice people. So the way to do this is something that police use all the time. They use a radar gun. So they'll shoot the radar, it hits your car, and it comes back, and what does it tell you?
Like it tells you how much like faster.
Exactly. Very good. So same thing. When you look at someone, and I'm going to teach you how to use radar. You've got it built in. Put your right hand up like this. Point it at somebody besides me, and say hi. No, like this, like this.
Yeah,
Like this, like this. Hi. Point it at somebody. Hi. 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 Shoot a few people. Hi. 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 Come on, put your hand up. Hi. 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 Now see, they're all ripe fruits in here, so it doesn't. But if you shoot at somebody, you go hi, and somebody's not a ripe fruit, what are they going to do? That's like some people, they won't even acknowledge you, that like you don't exist, and that's a good thing because then you'll know what you've been doing to Krishna. Not you, but like normal people, fallen souls like myself have been doing to Krishna since time immemorial, ignoring. Krishna's like hi, and they're like, I'm busy, So then when there's a spectrum from 1 to 10. If they're over 5, 5.1, something like that, you have a chance. If they're 5 or below, don't worry about it. Just let them go. Just like a fruit on a tree, let them go. If they get up to 6, 7, 8, then they're going to come to you. You go hi. They go hi. What is that? How much is that? You'll see. It'll happen, and it's a matter of selection. It's a huge ocean out there, and if you're churning the ocean, all kinds of things are going to come out. So don't worry. You don't have to sell anything. You don't have to convince anybody. You just have to be a good fruit picker. You just look for the right fruits that are already out there, right? And then the first thing, you have to become a good conscious judge of, thank you, Prabhu. You have to become a judge of who's on the spectrum above 5. Okay, so now if you look at somebody and you say hi, and they smile a little bit at you, and now a smile where they don't show their teeth, that's still on the 5 level. They haven't crossed over. That's not going to do it. But if they go like that, that's like a 5.1. If you wave and they wave back, say hi. So you start to get good at this and you practice. So when we go out tomorrow, then first of all, let me say something about going out tomorrow. Tomorrow we're not going out to sell books. Okay, so relax. All we're going out to do is touch the pavement because we want to see what it's like to go out together as a big team. And so what we're going to do, we're going to get to the spot and we're going to put our right foot in on the pavement in the area where the book distribution yajna would take place. And we're going to take a picture of all of us together touching the pavement. And that's going to be our ritual. After that, everything's extra. It's like, this is the only thing that counts, is that we get out the door, we go there, we put our foot on the pavement. Everyone got it?
Yes.
Okay, so that's easy. So then what happens is, in the process of distributing books, you say hi. When you see somebody that responds to you favorably, above a 5, then you can ask a question, because a question is a hook. Whoever's asking questions is leading the conversation. Who leads the conversation?
Who asked the question?
Whoever is asking questions. So don't ask a yes or no question ever. Ask an open question. So the question is, I say, as an example, I'm from California. Where are you from? Florida. I love Florida. Here, I'll show you one too. Come on, stand up here. I'll show you one too. And I'm about to hand the book over, but I'm going to say something as I'm handing the book over. Now, see, he's a ripe fruit. He came right over. Here's another thing that you should learn, and I want everyone to try this. How'd you know how to do that? This comes natural, right? Everyone try, turn to somebody and go like this. Hey. Come on, everybody, try one. This is Yukta Vairagya. Did you do it?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. This is irresistible. Sometimes people come from across the street to get a fist bump because everyone's in isolation. We live in a little box in the suburbs, then we get in a box to drive us to work, and then we're in a box-like body. You know, a soul in a box, it's not very good. So when somebody puts out their hand, they'll go, yeah, it's really hard not to do. So this is a very visceral way to connect with people. So first of all, the person says, I say, I'm from California. Where are you from? You say from Florida. I say, I love Florida. I'll show you what too. I take the book out, and now I'm going to, as I'm handing the book over, I'm saying, come on. Books on yoga and meditation. Repeat after me.
Books on yoga and meditation.
That show you how to get free from stress.
Will show you how to get free from stress.
Now notice that he just took the book, right? He took it. Why did he take it?
It's open
Because I
to.
handed it to him. So the hand is it's a cool little agent. Take a look at your little agent there. Take a look. You've got a hand, right?
Yeah.
So the hand doesn't always follow the head. So the other day I was in London, and so I handed a book to a guy, and he goes, "No thanks." And as he said, "No thanks," the hand goes, "No, I'll take it." So you have to just deal with the hand the book over. And as you're handing it over, say something that's reasonable. So books on yoga and meditation.
Yoga and meditation.
To show you how to get free from stress. Hey, Mr. Show
How to get free from
Mister, buddy. So now, no, go ahead. You're in the play here. Stay right there. Hold the book. So watch what I do. Hi, California. Where are you from? Florida. I love Florida. This is a beautiful place. Here, from California to Florida. Books on yoga and meditation that show you how to get free from stress. Now, what do questions do?
lead the conversation.
They lead the conversation, or they hold something in place. So, I'm sorry, I lost my place. Books on yoga meditation shows how to get free. You've heard of stress before. Here's your question. You've heard of stress, right?
Yeah.
You've heard of stress, right? You don't look stressed. You look very peaceful. Now get ready. I'm going to ask another question. Repeat after me. What's your secret?
What's your secret?
Okay, now what if somebody says, no, I'm not stressed at all? You're still okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I say, you've heard of stress before, right? I said, don't ask a yes or no question. Here's an exception. You've heard of stress, right? And say, no, I'm not stressed at all. I know, you don't look stressed at all. What's your secret? It still works either way. So ask this question to somebody next to you. Say, what's your secret? What's your secret? What's your secret? What's your secret? Now, let me tell you psychologically what this is doing. the reason people don't want to stop and take a book is because tacitly you're saying, you're messed up, I'm going to fix you up. You're really messed up. I'm going to teach you something that you don't know because you're wayward, you're a fallen person, and people are resistant to that because like, I don't want help from anybody. I want to stay wayward soul. So basically when you say this, what's your secret? You're changing the roles and you're saying, you're the authority here. You teach me something. Now, here's the next thing. You say, when you say, you don't look stressed, you say, you look spiritual. Say it to somebody next to you. You look spiritual. How do you feel now? Spiritual. And this is a shortcut to self-realization. If you're talking to somebody and you say, you look spiritual, suddenly they remember, I'm a soul. Actually, I'm not my body. And they start to have this experience that, wow, I've been in the material world for millions of years. I've forgotten Krishna. I might as well go back to Godhead. And you answer the question. How do you feel if you come out of your ashram and someone says, you look tired? How do you feel the rest of the day? Keep looking in the mirror. How about if someone says, you look terrible? How do you feel the rest of the day? You stand in Mangal Arti going, God, I look terrible. But if you say to somebody, you look spiritual, it suddenly changes their whole perspective of life. These are powerful mantras. I guarantee you they work. So books on yoga and meditation shows you how to free from stress. You've heard of stress before, right? Because you don't look stressed. In fact, you look spiritual. What's your secret? So someone might just say, oh, I don't know. It's like, you must just come from a good family, right? You better say that. And if they say, I don't know about that, then just say, you're just a natural. Just say, you're just a natural. Okay, now I've taught that. Now I say, here, I'll show you really quick. Everyone say that. I'll show you really quick. Now I'm taking the book back to show, okay? So I'll show you really quick. And how fast are we showing them? Really quick. Why? Because they're thinking, how long is this going to take? Is this a Bhāgavatam class? Or am I ever going to get out of here or what? Right? Is that what you're thinking? Okay, come over here. Here, stand right here. So now I'm going to show a few things about the book. Everything that you need to sell Bhagavad Gita is in or on the Bhagavad Gita. So start with the back cover. There's Thoreau, Emerson, Gandhi, add a few more. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Albert Einstein, the Beatles, Tupac Shakur. Can everyone remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, everyone say it.
Thoreau,
Gandhi, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Albert Einstein, the Beatles, Tupac Shakur. Does anybody here know who Tupac is? I'd be surprised. Okay. Next one, turn to the front. I open to the middle. So start with the back, go to the middle, and then I show them the Sanskrit. I say, can you read this? I was just testing it. It's all translated to English, and out of all the English translations of Bhagavad Gita, this ancient book, this has become most popular with academics. And you show Georgetown University, and you can show USC, a couple big universities. That's all you're doing is dropping names. You got it? Everyone say yes?
Yes.
Okay, now I'm going to show a couple pictures. Okay, and here, look at. I'm showing him the changing bodies. Exhibit A. Everyone familiar with this? Yes. Okay, look at, here's what you say. You start here. We all start here. We end up here. Just show with the sweep of your hand. We're all just passing through. Everyone say that.
We're all just passing through.
Then I'll ask him, where are you in this picture? Show where you are. Right there, huh? I'm over here. I was 5 minutes here 5 minutes ago. This guy really fast. And then I'll show the next picture. This one is from Vidya Vinaya Sampane. And I say, look at, a self-realized person treats everyone with respect because he or she sees there's a spirit in everybody. And then I'll ask, you've heard of karma, right? You've heard of karma?
Yes.
What does it mean to you?
Action, reaction.
Whoa, I really like the way you put things. Now ask me, karma. You've heard of karma, right? Ask me. Yeah, now ask me what it means. What does it mean to you?
What does it mean to you?
Like there's butterflies and rainbows and all kinds of crazy stuff. And you say,
Whoa.
whoa. I really like the way you think. If more people in the world thought like you, the world would be a better place to live. Try it again. Ask me what karma is. What does karma mean to you?
What does karma mean to you?
It's like cosmic. It's really weird and stuff like that.
Whoa.
I really like the way you put things. If more people in the world thought like you, the world would be a better place to live. You got it? Okay. What do you do professionally? What do you do for a profession? School. What? Are you a student? What are you studying? Okay. What grade are you in? Look at this guy used to be studying math in second grade. What do you do professionally?
Software.
What kind of software engineer?
Database software.
Look at this guy used to be a database software engineer. If anybody's a Sunday school teacher or a dancer, look, this guy used to be a dancer. That's when they're laughing, and 50% of the people going, really? And they go, not really, I'm just kidding. And then they go, ha ha ha. And then 50% just go, ha ha. And as soon as you're going, say ha ha ha. That's when you hand the book back and you say it like this. We don't sell it like in a bookstore. Thanks. We only ask for a donation. We only ask for, repeat after me. We don't sell it like in a bookstore.
We don't sell like a bookstore.
We only ask for a donation.
We only ask for a donation.
We don't need the money.
We don't need the money.
The only reason we ask,
The only reason we ask,
and you get something in return for spiritual knowledge.
when you give something in return for spiritual
It
knowledge,
connects you to the previous teachers.
it connects you to the previous
It
teachers
passed it down,
and passes it down.
and it allows you to enter deeply within the knowledge.
It allows you to enter deeply within the knowledge.
So now let's say, how much should I give? Say, well, there's no minimum, but more importantly, there's no maximum. We try to keep it under $100, but in your case, we're thinking of making an exception. And if people say, I have no money, I don't have any money. Is that true?
Yes.
No, it's not true. It's the reason they're saying is because they're not sure how much to give. So you can say they cost around, they cost us with shipping and storage, they cost about $10. Anything you give over that is a donation. Or if people insist they have no, I don't have any cash, we don't take cash. We take MasterCard, American Express, carte blanche. Do we have a credit card machine?
Yeah,
for tomorrow?
Square,
Yeah,
yeah.
we take cards. Or just say this, just give a penny. Just give one penny. And people go, I can't just give a penny. No, give one penny. And then they'll reach in and they'll give you $5 or $10. And if they give a penny, that's fine too. Okay, now, once the person gives a donation, give me a donation. Give a donation. Hey, he's got some cash. We take credit cards too, you know. Come on. Here, give me a flower as a donation. Haribol. Do you believe in the power of prayer? You do. Okay, I'm going to teach you a prayer that's meant to wake up love for God in your heart. I'll say it and you repeat. Are you ready? Now, this is when you hand them a mantra card so they can read along. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Krishna Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Rama Rama.
Rama Rama.
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
You're a natural. Okay, now is the time you give them prasadam. So tomorrow we'll have, what, lollipops?
Cookies.
Cookies. So then you give them a cookie at the end and you say, it's been a real honor to meet you. Thank you very much for taking your valuable time. Give them a big round of applause. Now I'm going to teach you how to sell a book to an Indian. Okay? It's totally different. Totally different. Can I have an Indian volunteer to come up here, please? Prabhu, come up. Okay, so on the street, door to door, wherever you are with an Indian, don't hand them anything. If you give an Indian the Bhagavad Gita, psychologically, they get embarrassed. They're thinking like, hey, this is my culture. You're telling me I should be reading Bhagavad Gita. I already know they're going to get defensive immediately. They're going to say, I read Bhagavad Gita. I know Bhagavad Gita. My grandma read Bhagavad Gita. No, my grandma memorized Bhagavad Gita. My mother read it every day. What are you giving it to me for? Right? So when I meet an Indian, I don't hold the book out. Don't give them a card. Don't give anything. Nothing from the hand to the hand. Just make friends. So I'm California. Where are you from?
I'm from Florida.
Florida. How many languages do you speak? That's a way of asking where somebody's from. Well, how many languages do you speak? Two. Which ones?
English.
Telugu. Are you from South India?
Yeah.
I love South India. What city are you from? Ooh, Hyderabad's beautiful. Thank you so much. So we're doing as you know better than I. Say that. You know better than I.
You know better than
Keep
I.
saying it. You know better than I.
You know better than I.
The world's in a big mess, and the only way to solve the problems are from commonsensical spiritual knowledge, and that's the great gift of India. Now, you know Bhagavad Gita. Your mother read Bhagavad Gita every day. Your grandmother memorized Bhagavad Gita. See, I'm telling him everything he was going to tell me. Tell him that first. And you know more about this than I do. Say it.
You know more about this than I do.
What we're doing is we're spreading Bhagavad Gita all over the world. We're printing in many different languages like Mandarin, like Japanese, like German and French. For people who don't know, like you know, but other people don't know. And so for their benefit, we're also starting schools so all people of the world can learn the basics, universal principles of Bhagavad Gita. And today, get ready, we're doing a fundraiser. I haven't handed him anything. Today, we're doing a fundraiser and we are collecting money. Everyone say it. We're doing a fundraiser.
You're doing a fundraiser.
Collecting money. That's how you say it, directly, straightforward. And then he'll say, how much do you want? Or he'll start looking for his wallet or going to the back of the house to, bring out whatever. And he'll give a donation on that because Indians are pious to the core and they want to help spread Bhagavad Gita all over the world. And one thing they have is tons of money. It's stacked up everywhere. And they're trying to get rid of it as fast as they can, but it won't go away. So you can just give some money. So they'll then give money. Then you give them the books. Then lavish them with books. Give them the Bhagavad Gita and the whatever books you have on them, a big stack of books. And they'll be very happy. And if you do it like that, then it won't go away. Just make sure you don't put the book anywhere near them until the whole thing's done. And that's the safe way to do it. There are other ways to do it. And there are other ways to distribute Bhagavad Gita than what I taught you in the beginning for dealing with any non-Indian. But that's a template that you can follow. And if you follow it, I promise you, you'll be successful. I promise you. No way you can not succeed. These mantras always work. And you'll try it and you'll see it for yourself. Give them a big hand. Let's just take a couple quick questions because I'm way over time. Prabhu.
What do you say if he's a Muslim?
A Muslim. Okay, that's a good question because everyone has some upadi, some designation that tells them why they shouldn't take the book. So whatever the designation is, and here's a rule of thumb. Honor objections. Everyone say it.
Honor objections.
Never object to their objection. Always honor their objection. And so when they say something like, I'm a Buddhist, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Christian, then you say, oh, fantastic. We need more people like you in the world. It would be a better world to live in. Now, let's say I just handed somebody a book. Prabhu, come up. And I stand to hand you the book, and you say, no, you like see the book halfway and you start pushing it back and you say, no, thanks, I'm a Buddhist. You have books on yoga and meditation show you how to get free from stress. Push it back. You push it back, say, no, I'm a Buddhist. Oh, I'm sorry, here. Let me give you this one. And you give them a completely different book. Not the same book. I don't have a different one up here, but you give them a different book and here. This one's for the Buddhists. Okay, and now you push it back and say, I'm an atheist. They have books on yoga and meditation, show you got free from stress. Push it back. No, I'm an atheist.
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. Here, this one's for the atheists. It's funny that I just did it the other day in London, and the guy goes, "Really? You got a book for atheists?" Almost exclusively. And the guy took the book. He bought it. So the thing is, the mind is very tricky. We're dealing with psychology. So when somebody rejects something, don't push it back at them. They're not going to take it. You always take the book back. As soon as you see the book coming even 1 inch back at you, you just take it back out of their hands. And then give them the next one. So let's say you have 7 different kinds of books. So they hand one back, you just give them the other one. You can't give the same book back. It's already out of the picture. Just give a different one back. And you'll see, I've had it happen. It just happened the other day. Somebody gave like 4 books back. The 5th book, they took it. That was in France, right on the street. You're cool as a witness. And we've seen in Hong Kong, guy did like 8 books. And he finally took one. So just keep changing. So Muslim, I say, yeah, we'll give you this one because people nowadays have forgotten about the goal of life. They've forgotten Allah. Allah is within everyone's heart. Allah is everything. He's great. And everyone, look at this society. They've all forgotten it. We're trying to spread knowledge that will actually help people. So we just ask for a donation. Just change the nomenclature a little bit. I was with some, thank you. Give them a hand. Indian students, and we had a big book table outside the store, and this guy comes out and he said, "No thanks, I'm a Muslim." And so I said to the devotees, they were brand new, I said, "Give me the Muslim book." And they were looking on the table. I said, "Give me the Muslim book." And so finally handed me a Krishna book, and I said, "Here." And I just told him everything that I just said, and he bought it. So whatever someone is, just be a little accommodating, because our philosophy is all accommodating. Krishna is everything. He'll come in whatever way you wish. They're all manifestations of the same God. Yes.
Can kids do distribution books?
Can kids distribute books?
Yeah.
Yeah, kids are really good at distributing books.
You've seen kids distribute books before?
Yeah, I took out 5 5-year-olds about, when was it? 18 years ago?
Close to it because they're in college now.
In college now. I took 5 5-year-olds. This was the beginning of our kids' Sankirtan. And I took 5 5-year-olds out with some parental help. And it was amazing. They were so excited about it. They had such an amazing experience that whenever we started doing Sankirtan, they wanted to come out again, all of them. And then it grew into a whole department. We have devotees that exclusively work with the kids, and they take 20% of our marathon goals, which are huge. They're collecting tens of thousands of dollars and distributing hundreds of books. And what they've learned from doing it is how to meet people, how to handle rejection, how to organize things, and they become really equipped to deal with the world. Some people just go to school to get an MBA, but they're dysfunctional. But when you learn how to do Sankirtan, how to do book distribution, you learn everything. Would you like to learn? You're in. You're part of the team. Give her a hand. Way over time, and usually we have time to stand up and practice doing a book back and forth, but we're a little bit late. Yes.
And one question is, we already did a lot of Bhagavad Gita distribution, and when we go and ask them to take Bhagavad Gita, they say we already got it, we already have at home.
Perfect. Then as soon as they say, we already have Bhagavad Gita at home, then say, then show them the Bhagavatam, another book. See, because, and again, honor their rejection. Their objection is, I already have it, right? So you say, yeah, we're looking for all the people, because we've distributed thousands of Bhagavad Gitas here. We're looking for you. We're looking for the people who already have Bhagavad Gita. You go downstream, don't go upstream. So if they say, I have it, I already know it. It's like, yeah, our meeting today was about finding people who already have it and already know it. Whatever they object to, you say, yes, that's who we were looking for, those people. And here's what we brought for you. This one's for you, because we, like some people say, why don't you give somebody who will read it? And I say, well, I would, but we were asked to find the most intelligent looking people. So for every thing that people say, and there's a finite number of things they say, that there's always something that you can say back, but the general principle is honor it and then give them the next one. Anybody else? Prabhu.
Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Thanks for the wonderful session. My question was that when I've seen some book distributors, not from the camp, that sometimes they don't read the way you started, that we are looking for ripe fruits. So they don't judge that properly, and they kind of little bit overzealous, or they keep on trying to. It could be new beginners also.
Yeah.
Is there a way to deal with the emotional thing that, sometimes when we begin book distribution, we think that we have to distribute books. And then when on a particular day, somebody else is able to distribute and we are not able to distribute, we kind of get it.
Don't make your goal to distribute books. If your goal is to sell a book to everybody, then you're going to be disappointed. Our goal is to do the right thing, which is to walk out the door and touch the pavement and feel ourselves part of the Sankirtan party. But whether we sell a book or not, that's up to Krishna. We'll just do the best we can as individuals, but we're under no obligation to sell anything. We just want to show up with the party. And if it happens, fine. If it doesn't, that's okay. We're not worried about it. It happens by Krishna's grace anyway. Let me teach you a technique, how to turn off your brain. You want to know how?
Yeah.
Okay, you can become a robot. And then all you have to do is just walk out the door like this and go to the Sankirtan party and then follow as an instrument. So reach behind your head. You didn't know this, but try it. There's a little switch back there. Yeah, you can feel it right at the bottom of your head. And all you have to do is flip the switch and you turn into a robot. When I say 3, 1, 2, 3, flip. Hey, how do you feel now? You don't have any emotions, right? You're not attached to results. Flip the switch. In fact, we should start a campaign, flip the switch, and just turn off this idea that I'm the doer and become the instrument instead, and be fine. But we should train devotees to not, we're all for one and one for all. We're only setting goals at some periods of time in order to, because if you don't have them, then the devotees get disappointed. They want to go for something. In the beginning, put the bar so low that everyone will look at it and go like, that's too low. That's where you want it to start with. So everyone says like, anybody can do that. It's like, yeah, go ahead. It's easy. We just want to feel what it feels like to be in the flow of going out as part of the party. And no pressure, no performance. We don't want that. It'll happen on its own accord, spontaneously, as devotees start to venture out and get some confidence. But we should always leave people with a good impression. So if they take, don't take, they say something to us, be a sadhu, be a sadhvi, be very respectful to everybody, and that our main goal is to treat everyone with respect and leave everyone with a good impression. Prabhu, we're out of time, aren't we? So let's just say that we did a cursory kind of training. I gave you some ideas. Tomorrow, all we're going to do is just walk out the door. And the hardest part of Sankirtan is true movement. It's just how to get from one place to the next. And so all we're going to do is test out and see what it feels like. Nobody's under any obligation whatsoever to sell a book tomorrow. All we're going to do is a joyful little ritual of touching the pavement. And after that, whoever, probably all try. And if Krishna blesses me, we'll meet somebody. And anybody who wants can watch. And anybody else who wants to distribute books, others can watch and just be there and just see what it feels like. We're only out for a few minutes anyway. Then we come back to a huge prasadam feast, a roaring kirtan, and we'll share our realizations. Okay? Hare Kṛṣṇa.
We'll express our deepest gratitude to His Grace, Vaisesika Prabhu, by loudly chanting 3 times. Hare! So, as Prabhu mentioned, that we have a program for tomorrow. So in the morning at 9:30 a.m. we have the yajna, and the Diksha initiation ceremony for Ramohan Prabhu and Manisha Mataji. That will be at 9:30 a.m. At Bankim Prabhu's place. So you're all cordially invited for that. And after that, at around 2:30 p.m., we will do the practical session. We're not distributing books, we're just touching the payment. So please come,
Prabhu, tomorrow our strategy will be type B, Indians mostly.
Yes.
Indians are so nice and easy, and hopefully we'll meet a few Westerners too, because it's a mall area, people walking around, so I can show you that too. But Indians, you just have to be really sweet to them and respectful for anybody.
And we also have this wonderful book, Our Family Business, which talks in detail about the great art of distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. As Prabhu briefly shared in the limited time we had, this book talks all those points in great detail about sadhana, about service, about book distribution, etc. So if anyone wants a physical copy, I think I will be very happy to sign it for those devotees.
I'll sign the book. It's not my book, it belongs to BBT. I gave the copyrights when I first wrote the book, and it talks about sadhana, organization, the history of book distribution in ISKCON and so forth, and also how to distribute books.
And before we do prasadam, should we do like a standing dancing kirtan, like 5 to 7 minutes?
You can do a little kirtan.
And then we can do this. So, shall we all do kirtan?
Yes.
5 to 7 minutes?
Yes.
So you can all stand up and we will do chant and dance all together.
Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Prabhupada Stotra Śrīmad Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai Namacharya Śrīla Hare Thakur Ki Jai Praise the whole Śrī Caitanya Prabhu Nityaṁ Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta Hare Kṛṣṇa Ki Jai Śrī Radha Krishna Gogovidam Shamakum Radha Kiri Govardhan Ki Jai Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Ki Jai Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Ki Jai Śrī Caitanya Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Jamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai Samveda Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Voices and devotees Voices and devotees God bring them in the Hare
Vaisesika Prabhu ki
Jai. Jai.
Sankirtan ki
Jai. Jai.
All the devotees ki
Jai.
Can we all take a we'll all take a group picture with Maharaj. Can we all